6.5 million pets enter animal shelters every year. This is because of animal abuse, a serious issue that affects an average of 10 million animals a year in the U.S. Every year, over 115 million animals are killed in laboratory experiments worldwide for chemical, food, and cosmetic testing. Millions of animals have suffered at the hands of humanity. How would you define abuse?
Abuse is doing something like violent to something that's like defenseless and like can't stand up for itself.
Abuse is hurting mentally or physically.
It's when you hurt or harm an animal.
Abuse is bad treatment, hurting something or someone.
What experience do you have with animal abuse?
My name's Morgan, and I'm the barn manager at Sammamish Animal Sanctuary in Sammamish, Washington. A lot of our animals that I worked with before this sanctuary were from abuse cases, but they were dogs and cats.
We see some signs of what you would call cruelty or neglect, and that can be things where the pet had a small wound but never got to go to the vet, and it became bigger, so that they were more neglected in care. We see pets that sometimes don't have as much food as they need, particularly if you have a hoarder where the family might have started with 2 cats or 2 dogs, and the 2 became 10, and the 10 started to, and pretty soon you have 50 or 100, and they don't have enough money to buy food and medication. So you see some very skinny, malnourished pets from time to time. And then what you'd really consider abuse would be someone who's personally trying to harm a pet. And we've run into a couple of situations like that where we do get involved with the legal system. Our doctors periodically will have to testify for cruelty.
What are the effects of animal abuse?
I think just the long-lasting impact it has on any animal. For example, we got a horse from a kill pen that clearly had been abused, and I'm just now able to put something on her back, and we just took her halter off, and we've had her for 3.5 months. You couldn't even get near her when we first got there, and she's only 3.5, and she'll be a spooky, jumpy horse for the rest of her life because somebody hit her.
We're talking about animals, but really we're talking about the people that are harming animals. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but there's definitely been plenty of situations where people that want to harm animals, that's sort of their entry into harming living things, and they may find that for some reason satisfying, and that becomes boring and people become their next target. It's a sad thing, from both the animal perspective and other potential human victims. But I think it's a sad state that someone would feel that they find a joy or a passion into harming any living being. Why would you want to harm this pet who just wants to love you?
My name is Julie Cortino, and I'm the customer care director here at Seattle Humane. We have seen animals that have come in, and it's really sad and really interesting because the animals typically are taken in as baby puppies. If you're an adult and you're aware and you go into a situation like that, you understand both sides. A lot of times with animal testing practices, these animals have gone in as puppies and that's all they've ever known. So it's really hard to then acclimate them once they come out of that environment to place them into a home. And there's a lot of behavior modification and training that needs to happen to teach them how to actually socialize with people.
Abuse is defined as the treatment of a person or animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. The sad truth is that animals are beaten, kicked, bruised, and are sometimes very seriously injured because of the cruelty of humans. Animal mistreatment comes in many forms. Some people even provide unsafe and unhappy conditions for animals unintentionally. Animal hoarding is a serious issue where pet owners buy too many animals than they can handle, causing many of the animals to go without food, water, or shelter because they are neglected. When purchasing animals, always think about if you have the means and the dedication to ensure that your pet has a proper home. Animal neglect is one of the more serious issues in animal mistreatment today.
Another form of animal mistreatment can occur during animal experimentation.
What animals do you think of when you hear animal testing?
Mice,
Rats, monkeys,
Rabbits and like rats and stuff.
Bunnies and rats, mice, rats.
Personally, I think that using them for like makeup products and stuff like that, we don't really need to use animals for makeup products. Medical experimentation is a little different as long as everything's strictly managed for me.
Are you conscious about how the products you use affect animals?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't buy any more products that are tested on animals.
no.
not very.
Somewhat, like on products, some people say like, oh, not tested on animals, and those are typically like good products.
Not really. I just know like when I eat eggs, we get cage-free eggs.
Animal experimentation is a major obstacle that animals are facing in the world today. Some researchers are able to provide a safe and painless experience for the animals that they use in experiments, but many others hurt, injure, or kill the animals in the name of science.
I think animal testing was standard practice decades ago. It was, you wanted to practice, testing on products to make sure that they're safe for humans. I think we've come to an age now with science to back it up to where there are methods now to test these products without having to test them on animals to determine their, the safety for human, whether it's a cosmetic or human consumption like food. So I think it seems like we're on the right path. It's definitely trending away from animal testing and moving into more science-proven methods.
Unfortunately, mice, birds, and rats, the animals most commonly used in experiments, are not counted in most experimentation statistics, as the law doesn't consider them when referring to animal experimentation. Cosmetic testing is another form of animal experimentation where certain products are tested on animals by companies to find reactions to certain ingredients. Animals can have harmful substances rubbed on their skin or squeezed into their eyes. Usually, after the animals have been used for testing, they are killed.
Do your research.
Education and awareness. I think just understanding what it takes to have an animal and what it means to actually take care of an animal.
The most important thing we can do is be aware of what's going on around us.
So what can you do? Be aware of whether or not animals are mistreated in any of the products that you are using. Look for the cruelty-free logo when deciding which products to use. Inform yourself.
I always advocate for adopt, don't shop, but if you want to get one from a breeder, know who you're getting it from. If you're getting an animal from a feedlot or something like that because you want a horse, try to go for something a little less showy. You don't have to go get, like the top horse breeder, 17 hand high kind of deal. There are a bunch of horses out there that need good homes that just need a second chance.
All animals are deserving of a good home. Don't let any animals go unloved.
You see something, say something.
If you see something, say something.
On a day-to-day basis, people in our communities all the time are seeing animals who are being abused or neglected, and it's very important for them to report that.
If you see something or hear something, or even a friend of a friend, I think I saw something that didn't look right. And it's just like with any kind of other emergency that happens out in the environment. Report to the authorities. Find your parents. Let your parents report to the authorities.
Help us put a stop to abuse. Signs of abuse include malnourishment, open wounds, bruises, limping, and depressed behavior. If you see something, say something. These animals need you. If you are concerned about animal abuse, contact your local animal shelter or animal control center. Local shelters include the Seattle Humane and PNW Control.